obviously I'm a little young to remember the Del Otero Hotel, but I've been, like Jerry mentioned, I've been studying local history for over 30 years out here, and have collected a lot of information. I'd like to share some of that information with you that I got here on the Del Otero tonight. So, anyway, Lake Minnetonka is well known for having many famous hotels. Most came and went in a relatively short time, usually burning down at the end of the first great tourist era in the late 1800s. The few surviving hotels were converted to rest homes or apartments, or just torn down. But there was one great Minnetonka hotel that operated for almost 60 years, and that was the Hotel Del Otero. Let's imagine Spring Park 100 years ago, the Del Otero towering high above the rise between the West Arm and Spring Park Bay. Approximately where the parking lot now sits between the Minnetonka Mist and the post office. Surrounded by acres of woods, picnic grounds, a ball field, and by the lake a fine swimming beach, and next to that a separate building for dancing and bowling, which in those days was known as a casino, but not to be confused with what a casino is today. Large steamboats and later fast streetcar boats came up Spring Park Bay and docked at the large wharf in front of the hotel, approximately where the public boat ramp is now. Visitors who came by boat would enter the hotel through a pergola that was covered with flowering plants. Those arriving by train on the other side of the hotel would literally step off the platform right into the hotel. Inside, they would enter the lobby with its big fireplace, piano, and cozy stuffed chairs. After checking in, they could visit either the main dining room or the porch dining room that gave an excellent view of Spring Park Bay. Porches ran all around the hotel, making the best of the lake breezes. A separate circular porch over on the west end of the building allowed Victorian ladies a place to relax away from the rest of their families. A typical guest room included two comfortable double beds, a dressing table, and a couple of chairs, usually a rocker. The hotel began like many others in the lake area. It was James J. Hill and the Great Northern Railroad that prompted the building of the Del Otero, as well as the more famous Lafayette Hotel on Minnetonka Beach and Woolnose Maple Crest out on Island Park. When the Del Otero was built in 1887, the Great Northern was still only a regional railroad called the St. Paul, Minneapolis, and Manitoba. It would be another 6 years before the Empire Builder, as Hill was known, would push his rails to the Pacific Ocean and rename his railroad the Great Northern. The railroad spur off the main line in Wayzata had been completed to Spring Park in 1881. It was built primarily to siphon off the huge amounts of timber that were being cut down in the Westonka area, as well as getting tourists out to Hill's Hotel in Minnetonka Beach. Hill could see that Spring Park would be a great location for another hotel. He ordered that the Del Otero be built at a cost no less than $5,000. It was said that the hotel was built upon Indian burial grounds, and indeed there are many records of mounds throughout the Spring Park and mound area. Early photos of the Del Otero do show mounds on the west end of the hotel, approximately where Spring Street enters Sunset Drive. There are a couple different versions on how the hotel got its name. One states that Hill named the hotel for his friend Judge Otero of New Mexico. Another says that the name Del Otero was selected since it supposedly translates to on the hill. The last owner of the hotel would tell people that Hill simply named it for himself. The three-story L-shaped hotel, built in the Rococo style, was originally built with 50 rooms and was advertised to accommodate more than 500 guests. The first manager of the hotel was George Hopkins. He would alternate managing the Del Otero in summer and the Coronado Beach Hotel in San Diego during the winter months. Hopkins ended up buying the hotel from the railroad within a few years after it was built, and he made several improvements. He added the casino building in 1900, and the beach and picnic grounds were improved. Mrs. Hopkins acted as hostess and was known for making every visitor feel at home. The hotel registered visitors from every major city in the U.S. and Canada. It was especially popular for the Southerners trying to escape the heat. So after this last summer, I don't know would have made any difference. The Del Otero also became known as a national honeymoon destination, not unlike Niagara Falls. The hotel had a full-time musical director, and formal music programs were published each season. There were 50 boats available for rent, or you could take a ride on the hotel's own launch. A big draw was the Fisherman's Special, sponsored by the railroad, that brought anglers from all over the country to Spring Park. The hotel was advertised in the National Health Journal in 1899 as the most delightful resting place in the Midwest. In addition to fishing, boating, bathing, guests were encouraged to take long, relaxing rides through the woods nearby. In the early 1900s, many Twin City residents began coming out to the hotel by train or streetcar boat to enjoy a Sunday picnic. At that time, there was a train arriving in Spring Park every hour. Adam King purchased the hotel from Hopkins in 1918. He was able to negotiate down the hefty asking price of $90,000. He was able to do this by guaranteeing that he would provide 2 trainloads of tourists each week to the hotel. He modernized the hotel by installing electricity, digging a well, and adding plumbing. And he expanded the grounds to over 40 acres. He added new bowling lanes and a new dance floor to the casino. And water toys such as a big slide and a water wheel were installed at the beach. In 1925, the hotel had a close call when a small fire started in the hotel, but it was contained and repairs made. I understand the hotel used to discard garbage in the hollow north of the railroad tracks, which would attract some of the local wildlife. As this area along Sunset Drive developed on its own, it kept the name Skunk Hollow. In the 1930s, Lloyd LeBray's Collegiate Orchestra played in the hotel dining room every night and furnished music for dancing in the casino. Another group, Skip West's Del Otero Orchestra, also played on a regular basis. I recently spoke with a Mound resident who remembers sitting in a rowboat on a moonlit night in the summer listening to the orchestra music coming out from the casino over Spring Park Bay. Many Mound high schoolers attended proms at the hotel, and the U of M fraternities and sororities often held dances at the hotel. Throughout its history, the hotel prided itself on its excellent food. In 1940, a prime rib dinner could be purchased for $1, and a tenderloin steak dinner could be ordered for $1.25. By this time, there were 85 guest rooms, along with 9 separate cottages, a few of which you can still see along County Road 15. Throughout the 1930s, the hotel hosted special events such as speedboat races, political rallies, and Sunday dinners, but business steadily declined. During the war years, business did perk up a little bit for a while, since people were drawn from the Twin Cities who were restricted from going to outstate resorts due to the gas rationing. Nevertheless, in 1943, Mr. King sold the casino and half the picnic grounds to entrepreneur Ed Streeter. Finally, on July 16, 1945, the hotel that had outlasted almost all the others succumbed to fire. 50 guests, including a couple on their honeymoon, were out of their rooms at 3:40 in the morning. They had to climb from their room windows and cling to the porch roof until they could be rescued. Firemen from Mound, Wayzata, and Excelsior battled the fire. Water for the hoses had to be pumped out of the lake at that time. It was all to no avail. The hotel was a total loss, valued at that time was $75,000. It was suspected that the fire started in the kitchen and was caused by faulty wiring. After the fire, King sold the rest of the hotel property to Streeter. When interviewed at the time, King said that the days of the lake hotels and amusements were gone for good. Of course, he could not envision the day when quaint old homes or hotels would become popular bed and breakfasts, and excursion boats would once again fly the waters of Minnetonka. The casino building, which was used for a while as a war factory, was also lost to fire in 1946. The picnic grounds and surrounding woods were bulldozed to make room for industrial plants and the new county highway, the current County Road 15. Today there is little remaining evidence of the once great Del Otero. Now that's pretty much what I have here. I do want to invite someone up for a couple minutes here who has some first-hand knowledge of the hotel, and that would be the grandson of Adam King, Mr. Jack Hawkins.
I don't have too much to add, but I will say this, the Del Otero Hotel was just a remarkable place, and my mother was a hostess there, my father was the manager, and my grandfather was the owner, and I was a bellhop, so we all pitched in. And I do remember one time when the parking lot was full of cars, another bellhop and myself went out to see what the plates were, and we had a plate from all 48 states at that time. And then the very last band that we had was Lloyd Labrie and his Hammering Harmonies with Tommy Dibble on the drums. And people would go there and have a nice dinner and listen to the music, and then after dinner the band would start playing, and they would march from the hotel to the casino and playing as they went along. And this was just great. They would have the casino just jammed with people down there, and one particular night I remember a man came in and he had a zoot suit with a reed pleat, and he had a long chain, and he was swinging his chain like this, and we all huddled around him because we'd never seen anything quite like that. But even today, when I look at the album or read the story of the fire, I still get tears in my eyes. It just seems like it was yesterday that it happened. That hotel just meant so much to me. It was just a great, great place. Thanks, everyone.